Hi, this is Trey Cruz here talking about my event marketing audit. So for my event marketing audit, I chose to go to an Astros playoff game. Went on October 5th to the second game of the ALDS against Tampa Bay Rays. Obviously a big game in the playoffs for the Astros. It was about 40,000 fans in attendance of the game, so the atmosphere was just electric. It was crazy. Obviously extremely loud in there. It was almost, I had to yell to talk to the people, to talk to anyone sitting next to me to kind of get a conversation, especially during the game. In between innings was a good time to talk to people, but while the actual game was going on, it was just so hard to hear. I almost lost my voice multiple times during the game watching it. But we sat right behind the visiting dugout. Obviously, great seats, kind of by the Tampa Bay family section, so it was kind of weird as far as hearing a lot of rooting for the opposing team where I was, as opposed to the rest of the stadium was obviously going for the Astros, the home team. So it was cool, a little different experience, but all in all, I loved it. It was great. So kind of first talk about the entrance. So there are five main entrances located throughout Minute Maid Park for the fans. There's one media entrance and then there's one player entrance. If you follow my mouse here on this picture, we came through the home plate entrance, which is right here. Oh, sorry, which is right here. That entrance was packed. It was so crowded. Yeah, we couldn't. It took forever to move. We got there right about 5 o'clock. That's when there was still some batting practice going on, so a lot of people were still showing up and getting ready. So not exactly the best time to go. Kind of from my experience, I've been to a lot of Astros games. My experience, the best times to go are either extremely early at 4 or extremely late at right at game time, like 7:10. Those are the times where it's least crowded. Like you'll get in about 5 minutes. But if you go anytime between 6:30 and 5, for the most part in there, it's going to be pretty packed. It took us about 20 minutes to get in. Line was huge, but finally we got in. But yeah, here's kind of where we got in. This spot here, kind of behind home plate ish, is where the media entrance is. So only media and some faculty and staff are allowed to enter through here. There is a parking lot here for those people, so it's pretty easy. Here's another entrance. This is the right field entrance. Right over here in this area is where the players' entrance is. So yeah, just players, coaches, some staff, some manager, clubhouse managers, things of that nature are in this area here. There's another entrance here, left field. This is probably, sorry about that. This is probably the least crowded entrance in my experience of going to Astros games that I see. So pretty easy to go through here. So if I had to do the game over again, I probably would have gone through there. And one more entrance is over here. This is left field entrance, kind of left third base entrance, really. Um, Pretty packed, but not too bad at all. So yeah, those are kind of the main entrances here. Every entrance they had rally towels for every fan, which had the slogan "Take it back." That was the slogan they had for this year's playoffs. So I thought that was really cool, and obviously everyone used them. There was always towels waving every part of the game, so that was very fun to be a part of and very cool. So the scoreboard, as you can see, scoreboard is humongous. A lot of different um, opportunities for even sponsorships around here. You can see the huge signage. It's huge. So it's located above the right field seats and displays a lot of different things. There's always something happening on the scoreboard at all times of the game, whether it's in between innings, after the game, before the game, just everything. So kind of some things that it'll display are obviously the current score of the game. It'll say which player is hitting, which player is pitching, the stats on both those players as far as season goes. It'll even say a fun fact about if they have a streak going or kind of what they've done the last month, or even just a fun fact about them outside of baseball. It'll say where they're from, what high school or college they went to or drafted. by, and just kind of cool facts like that. And in between innings, it'll show some cool promotional videos, funny fan videos like Kiss Cam, stuff like that. And Seventh Inning Straight's obviously, where there's two songs that are saying obviously the the those oh god, what are the two songs? There's a Waterbury sponsored song, and then there is the Seventh Inning Stretch song. That is pretty obvious. But yeah, those are kind of the scoreboard looks like. Obviously, it's a lot of good promotional opportunities there because a lot of different companies take advantage of that. So in between innings, everyone's looking at the jumbotron. So anything you put on there, everyone's going to see. So having some cool things, which we'll talk about later in the presentation, is huge if you can get it on the jumbotron. So sponsorships, obviously, there's signage all over the stadium with the sponsorships. There's train track signages are huge. I'll display in the video here in a second. There's is signage all along the train track at all different companies. They're huge, so you can't miss them. Every single person who walks in the stadium sees them, and that's obviously for a reason. They pay a lot of money. These companies pay a lot of money to have their signage there so that it can be seen by everybody, make them think of the product, and make them know that they're a proud sponsor of the Houston Astros. A bunch of companies have multiple signs throughout the whole stadium. I know Goya, you see Goya everywhere. Minute Maid, obviously the park is called Minute Maid, but there's Minute Maid all over the stadium, which is why Goya and Minute Maid are the two biggest sponsors for the Houston Astros. Here, I'm going to play this video. So it's kind of just a video of all the signage around, and let me go back to. So here, obviously, you got Lexus and Oxy. Oxy's a new merging sponsor for the Astros. It's an oil company, and then you have Chevron there. Oxy has two signs. They have a sign here, and then they have the huge sign here that they just took over recently. I used to be another sign. I'm not exactly sure, but that came in about 2017, so still recent. Lexus has always been a huge company for huge sponsorship for the Astros, and then kind of fast forward here. We have the United up here in center field with Honda, then Minute Maid obviously, and Budweiser. Budweiser's here, and they also have a booth in center field, which is crazy to me. Even the bullpen here says Lexus, so obviously Lexus is the big main car sponsor for the Houston Astros, and Budweiser is the biggest drink, or I guess you say beer, for the Houston Astros. It's huge. It's all throughout the stadium. Even when you're in the walkways in the concourse area, you see Budweiser signs all over the place. And every single place in all the concessions also sell beer. So obviously Budweiser is doing something right. So concessions and pricing. Obviously, a lot of concessions located throughout the stadium. It's you got every type of food you want, all the way from just typical ballpark food, which is the home and away here. That's where I went to get food, and this is kind of a picture of what the food kind of looks like from there. It's just some hot dogs. You can add stuff to hot dog. There's burgers, anything typical ballpark food, burgers, fries, popcorn, anything like that. They even added this street eats place, which is new. It's more of a healthier type concession. It's not like the most healthy, but it's probably the healthiest place you'll find in Minute Maid Park. They kind of over the years included some new concessions: Shake Shack, Torchy's, Chick-fil-A. They have the Nolan Ryan's barbecue now everywhere, which are very good, and obviously a lot of people like those places, so they're going to bring a lot of money for the Houston Astros and for the tour and for each of their companies as well, which is big. The pricing on those are about the same as like going to the normal stores. As far as Shake Shack, Torchy's, Chick-fil-A goes, they're exactly the same as when you go to a normal store, except for Chick-fil-A. I did go when I went to one of the World Series games. Their sandwiches were about like $10. a sandwich, which was ridiculous, and then it was also $8 of water. So they definitely inflated. I did not go to Shake Shack, so I'm not sure how much the price inflated there, or even if it did. But when I went on October 5th, the Shake Shack price was the exact same as when I've gone to the normal store in the village. So no inflation there. They had a bunch of desserts there, as far as Bluebell and Dippin' Dots, um, which are very good. I had a Bluebell ice cream. It was 7.25 for a helmet of ice cream, so that's what I got. So not terribly expensive, but obviously a little bit. I mean, it's a playoff game, so you can't expect lower prices like a normal season game. Then obviously there's IPAs and draft beer located in center field and left field. In center field, they have the Budweiser kind of viewing area, which is they obviously sell Budweiser and some other draft beers for anyone of age who wants that. And in left field, they have a huge draft selection. It's the all the concessions there are all dedicated to just beer. So there's basically a bar, but the lines are always everything I've gone to the game. Those lines are packed. A lot of people obviously like to drink beer at baseball games, so the pricing there is anywhere between $8 and $12 for the beer. It was $15 in the World Series for most beers that I saw. So that was pretty crazy to me, but obviously it's the World Series, so the demand's going to be higher. Some entertainment that they had at the game. They always have Orbit, the mascot. He's one of my personal favorites. He's hilarious. He's always going throughout the stadium. He's dancing on the dugouts, doing these dance videos in between the innings, which I'll play here in a second. And then they have the Minute Maid playpen for kids, which is a huge attraction in my opinion. I remember when I was younger, I'd come to Astros games, I'd always go to the playpen. So that was very cool for me. They just redid it. It's kind of a picture of what it looks like. They redid a lot of things. They have this little squeeze center, which is like you can kind of bunt. You can bunt or you can hit for little kids. This little wiffle ball, which is cool. It attracts kids that want to go to the game. It attracts parents that want to bring their kids to the game. That's obviously ends up being more money for the Houston Astros. So I think that was a big and smart addition. And so here I'm gonna play a little video. Orbit. Here dancing.
Okay, Orbit. Oh. I did right here in the camera.
So anyway, yeah, that's just kind of some shenanigans that they do in between innings and every game I've seen, which I think is really cool and very fun. Also, something else they do every now and then is that they'll put the kiss cam on, which is always fun to watch, because people sometimes embarrass themselves, which is great. But all in all, I think it's really fun. Kind of last thing I want to talk about was the Shared Care that they do. It's a raffle, 50-50 raffle that they do every single game, every home game, postseason and regular season. So the money is raised for the Astros Foundation, which is kind of a foundation that raises money for young kids who don't have the ability to pay for equipment to play baseball. So they raise money to kind of fund that, which I'll play a video here, kind of a promotion video that they play. When I went to the game, total money that was raised was $96,000, $96,183, which was a lot of money. And the winner got 48,000 of that, and the charity got the other 48,000. So I thought that was really cool. The winnings are collected in the community clubhouse, which is near section 109. So this is kind of like what the stand will look like here. The picture on the right, this is the stand that you can just kind of go up to and do it, and just kind of do that. Or they have people who come up to you during the game and send the videos. So here's kind of a video. So yeah, so that's kind of it. That concludes my presentation. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to email me. Thank you.